Good evening, welcome to another episode of the Big Classic Talk Podcast. We are here with my co-host Walter Sellers
Yo.
and my young teenage up-and-coming bodybuilder, awesome trainer, Ethan Kendall.
What's up, guys?
And we are going to discuss what's been going on with us. It's been a couple weeks. My man had his grand opening this past weekend here in Middletown, Delaware for his unbelievable facility called the Butterfly Effect. And he had all types of people, including the governor himself out here. So how did it go, brother?
It was good, man. We had fun. We had 150 some odd people here.
Oh, that's amazing.
All of us.
Yeah, because I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah, bro. It was lit. You know, we at the booty camp first. It was like 53 women in the booty camp.
Wow.
I think I did like 500 squats with them at 7 in the morning.
Right?
And then I did my free fitness Saturday at 8:45. We had people from back at the door all the way to the door,
Wow.
lined up, more squats, and then
That's
I was on my feet for another 3 hours. I literally laid right here when everybody left.
Wow.
I was for 30 minutes. I was laying on the floor. I couldn't move. I was tired.
Wow.
And
So to get 150 people, and I mean, what was your main source of promotion for that?
word of mouth and timing. You know, your Instagram push, right? I mean, I had a big assist from Beta Bay News. They published an article about me in the newspaper.
Nice.
And then the Delaware Black Chamber of Commerce, the Delaware Chamber of Commerce, you know, pushed it out to their different venues. I mean, I had people I'd never met before. Hey, congratulations, it's good. Had the barbershop over there, they all came out, and so it was,
That's great.
you know, it was a fun time. At the kids, we gave away $500 to the Delaware Gap Youth Initiative to help those girls, you know, make a positive impact in the community. And yeah, man, it was just,
That's
it
awesome.
was good. I mean, I was pumping it out. I mean, 25 hours a day on social media, it doesn't sound like a lot, but we get like 17,000 clicks to get 150 people, you know, 1/10 of 1%, which is
Yeah.
right in line with what you're gonna get.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
the numbers worked. I just had to work the numbers.
Yeah, I say that to my guys all the time when it comes to the training business. It's like, if you want clientele, it's about how many people you're talking to.
That's it.
It's, you know, it's just a numbers game, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. The more consistent you are with it, the more people see it. So I tell you guys that all the time. You know, it's not anything like there's so much competition out here
Yep.
now that if you're gonna make an impact and be that one that's gonna make the biggest impact on people, you just gotta be putting content out, talking to as many
Every
people as
day.
possible, and you know, it's just a number.
You just
If
gotta
I-
be relentless.
yeah, yeah. Like if I wanna touch 1,000 people, then I need to just keep putting it out there to make sure that it sticks,
10,000
right?
people.
Yeah,
You know, the interesting thing about any type of sales, you know, you can pay for premium leads, you can pay for premium this. If you can't close, you can't close.
Right.
You gotta be somewhat of a salesperson. But I think that there is nothing better than word of mouth, right? And referrals. You know, they come in already accepting the fact that you are professional.
yeah,
You know, and that you know what you're talking about. You know, all the plaques on the wall don't really mean shit. You know, it's how do you connect to people and can you get the most out of every single human being that you can. And when you're working with them, that's when the plaques on the wall matter.
Right.
But you know, other than that, man, it was fun. You know, I haven't worked. I mean, it reminded me of the car business back when I was in the car business, right? You know, we have the outside tent sales, and you know, you go out, you sell 100 cars on Saturday and Sunday, and you just boom, 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 boom. It was like that. It was it
Right.
took me back for a minute there, but yeah, otherwise it was good.
yeah, man. Well, when you're, and also it's like it's your passion, right? It's like
Right.
something that you've been talking about for ever since I've known you.
Yeah,
And wanting to touch this type of clientele and wanting to bring this type of thing here that you were doing down in the Delmarva DMV area, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad you're doing your thing. That's very exciting.
where's the medal at, bro? Fuck. How you gonna come up in here? 4th place in the world in the Mass Olympia and don't bring fucking hardware.
it off.
Hold on, but then don't even bring the 1st place Tampa trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck? What is this? Number one bullshit. That's what that is right there. How was it, man?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. mainly because I reached a level of conditioning I've never reached before. I reached a level of everything was just on a different level. The way I prepped, the lack of distractions, everything that tried to jump in my way as a hurdle. It was just like I was so focused and so locked into that prep that nothing else mattered, And it was my family, thanking God every day for giving me the ability to keep moving forward. And after that, the prep, And when you keep it in that perspective, it's like the fact that we're traveling over there and you lose your luggage, don't matter.
Right.
The fact that, your coach looks at you when you think you look great and says, I can get you a lot harder than that. Here's what I need you to do. Okay, give it to me. And those that were around me on a daily basis, they'll tell you, I was a shell of myself probably for like the last 6 weeks. And I had never pushed myself that hard through a prep.
Could I say something to go off that? So like I was around Fred probably more than most people because I was with him like every weekday. So I got to experience like just how Fred was as it got closer to the show. Like he would literally come up to me and was like, "Thank you." Like it was just like because he was just so like worn out,
Sure.
So it's one of those things where you go, what I went through is going to make me a better coach, because there were so many reasons I could have said why I could have not.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was a conflict with the kids, being on 50 grams of carbs for over 2 weeks and doing an hour to 2 hours of cardio a day, plus posing, plus training, and then there are no sponsors, so you work in a full schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really tested my limits, because the last time I was training at that level to be on the Olympia stage, the Open Mr. Olympia stage, I was heavily sponsored. So if I was feeling like dog shit, I would just say, I need to reschedule. And there was no consequence of that, because I had the income coming in from the sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't an option, and thank God for my team at Above and Beyond Physiques, because they really held it down for me. If I was feeling absolutely horrible, I could depend on Ethan. I could depend on, Elmo helps take some of the notes for me, keeping everything so that we're not losing track of what we're doing with our clients. And a few other individuals that work for me, they really stepped up when they knew, hey, Fred doesn't have it. So they stepped up to train those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be that, still have my mental side so I could write the programs, but they could execute and see it through for these people. And that was, that was something that I hadn't been through since I was an amateur. So there were, and then my girlfriend Janine, it was tough for her in the beginning, but after I won Tampa and we came back, that last 3.5 weeks before the show, man, she was, and she always kept my meals on point, so that was awesome. I mean, like, the girl can cook, so it made the meals, even if I wasn't eating any carbs, her and my daughter came up with this little recipe for spaghetti squash that had me killing spaghetti squash. And by the way, if constipation is ever your deal, spaghetti squash is the top. Because I had to stop eating that all the time, because it was, man, I was in the bathroom a lot. But it was one of those things where the meals were good, they were enjoyable. It just wasn't much. You learn to be hungry, you learn to love being hungry. You love to say, okay, well, if I got this kind of hunger, I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow a little bit better.
That's it.
And man, the training, it was good. Shout out to G for being there most of the time. 99% of the time he was there. And shout out to Antonio Thompson, because he's a coach, a football coach. So he brought that element of motivation. When, and G is Mr., he's consistent. He was always there. Antonio not so much, but when he was there, it was impactful, right? And then this guy's coming in and he's trying to learn. So like, you know, when you have the young line trying to keep up with the old line, you know, it just makes you train.
Very old.
You know?
Masters.
Right?
Very old.
60
60 years old according to Nick with the Power, bro. Hashtag Nick with the Power.
Yeah, I was backstage and somebody said, I didn't think you were 60. I'm like, I'm not.
I DM Nick. I was like, yo, where are you getting this information
Yeah,
from?
right,
It's
so-
like, the Google search said he's 60. He ain't.
Yeah, but that's crazy. But I said my AARP is hitting different than everybody. But no, it was you know, not, it was crazy, man, because, you know, we did this photo shoot and, you know, Elmo's there because he's doing the social media stuff for me. He's there because I know he has a good eye for the type of poses and stuff. And this guy is working me, man. He's like, just do one more. And in my brain, I'm like, you're not going to get this time back. You need to keep going. But my body was just like, it ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening. So they worked me, you know, and at that point, I remember my son was there for one of them, for a part of it. And he said, Dad, are you already drying out already? Like, you're still like 5 days away from the show. And I'm like, I'm not drying out. I'm drinking all the water. I'm doing everything. He's just like, damn, you look better than you do on stage, typically. And it really showed itself when I was backstage. Because Kamal is known for conditioning.
Right.
And Max Charles arguably in his best condition ever. And I'm back there and I'm looking at some of the other European guys. You know, European guys are typically very, very conditioned. Especially the guys over from the Middle East, they're super conditioned. And I'm going, holy shit, some of these guys look fat next to me. And I had everything that could go wrong going into that show. I mean, I'm in the air, the plane ride or the flight got delayed by 10 hours. When I finally land in Brussels, we miss our other flight. So then we were in the airport another 8 hours. When I get to Munich, we're gonna miss the flight in the Clue. So I gotta wait, and we're supposed to get into Romania at 1 p.m. I didn't get in Romania until 1 a.m.
12 hours.
So now you go to the fact that typically when you fly, you want to be 48 hours before you're going to be on stage. Get all the water
Or
out.
more, right. Yeah.
But we were so prepared and in shape. Chris Cicito had me so lean, it didn't even fucking matter. It didn't matter. Like, and all I kept saying to myself is, if everything else was perfect, but I wasn't in this kind of condition, what would I feel like? So it made me not stress about a thing. And because, you know, you just have to be resourceful. Like there was a hurdle, I had to be resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going up to, we're in Germany, and the lady's like, now we got to be in Germany for over 6 hours. We're trying to be out amongst in the airport gates, and that's uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Where are you going to get food from? Because there's all these fast food places, right? And you're going to yourself, all right, what am I going to do? I don't have enough food because I bought enough food for the trip. I checked on my other food. So that's then going to win. Because when you fly, you're flying out at 5 p.m. You land in Brussels, it's 8 a.m. So I have my first 4 meals to get me through to the afternoon, but everything else is checked. So I'm like, all right, well, they got chefs in the lounges. How do you get in the lounges? Well, you know, so
€100.
well, they did. In Brussels, they allowed us to pay.
Yeah.
In Germany, we're like, no, if you didn't fly Lufthansa, you're not coming in. I'm like, so, you know, charm.
Yeah.
Lord, please be with me on this. And an American Express card let me into the thing.
That's it.
But I had to beg this lady. I'm like, look, I'm doing the Masters Olympia. I need the ability to at least see what kind of food you have and the ability to rest comfortably, you know. And So I ended up paying. But and then she said, well, you can come in, but your girlfriend can't come in. I said, what kind of, what is...
See you later, Janine.
What kind of sense that? I mean, I couldn't do that,
Right,
You know,
right.
What kind of sense? So then I talked to her, and, the guy at first, he was just like, rules say, they're not speaking, he's not speaking, perfect English, so we're trying to communicate, that's that barrier. And then the woman tried to try and be a little bit sensitive to her. And it's so funny because my girlfriend's like, I don't need to fucking go in. And I'm like, whoa, that's not going to help us, right? Like, I'm trying to keep it positive and keep this thing, and meanwhile I'm dying inside.
Yeah.
I'm like
Hungry, tired,
right? And so I finally get us in. And it was like great because they made me rice, they made me egg whites, or boiled more eggs for me, and I told Chris what I had access to because I had cream of rice and a scale in my bag, and we made it work, And then when we finally got to Romania, 1 a.m., our luggage is missing. Didn't come with us. So I'm like, no trunks. So for you young people out here, or bodybuilders at any level, rookie mistake, you always carry your trunks with you.
Or your carry on.
Right? So I didn't do that. So I always do that. I didn't do it this time. So I ended up having to go to the expo and find a vendor that was selling
Extra mediums.
yeah, they were small.
Extra mediums.
They were small. I was like, get ready to go on stage, and Carla's like, you need to adjust yourself because that's not fitting. I'm like, oh shit. So, and she's the expediter backstage. And but yeah, I mean, it was a crazy experience. Like every morning we would get up, go buy an outfit at H&M, hoping our luggage would be there that day. I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, well, I need a
H&M, bro.
That's
The court determined that was a lie. You can't fit shit in H&M.
You can when you were son. Everything I bought from H&M doesn't fit now, but when I was 20 pounds down, it all fit.
It all fit.
30 pounds ago.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, but it was an amazing experience. I'm backstage, and everybody's like, "Damn, bro, you really brought it. You really brought it." And no one had seen me like that. But it wasn't because I didn't have the ability to do that my entire career. It's just because I had never been pushed that level. And let me remind you, at 10 days out, I sent Chris a text and said, yo, look at this shit. And I thought I looked phenomenal. Because you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought I looked phenomenal. I mean, I had things everywhere. I mean, we took this video in the office. We're thinking I look phenomenal. The owner or Jack at the training center, he's saying, man, you're fucking ready. And Chris says to me, if you let me, I'll make you way harder than this in the next 10 days. And I'm thinking I'm ahead of the game. And he goes, I'll make you way harder than that. And he did. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy, like the way we manipulated things and changed things. And I'm sending him pictures every day for like 3 weeks straight, and every day we're sending him pics, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. And he's looking at all this, and I'm saying to myself sometimes, like, this is redundant. Like, what are we going to see in one day? But, every time I felt like there was any slowing down, he changed something else. And, the first time I prepped with him, it was easy. I think I had a burger every 3 weeks, or every 2 weeks at least, cookies sometimes before I train, muffins at least once a week before I train. None of that shit this time. This time it was like, he said to me, you can win, but I will not send you there if you're not peeled. You will not go if you're not peeled. That's what he told me. And it was like early May, because I said, hey coach, I'm 15 weeks out. I'm thinking, I got some abs showing, got some lines in my legs, I'm good, right? So I told him, hey, I had a little mishap, had a burger at my son's birthday party, but that's it. And he said back, you will not go if you are not peeled, and you got a long way to fucking go. And I said, damn shit. Snapped me in gear just like this, boom. So I was like, all right. And I made a point from that point forward. I didn't cheat once. you know. And after I won Tampa, I knew I was going to get a meal. He said, "Go get the biggest steak you can get, and you can have some full fat dressing on the salad." I was like,
I remember you texted me that.
maybe a big baked potato, because we didn't carb up for that show.
Right.
You know, we did Tampa. There was no carving up. We barely
Didn't know you were gonna do it.
we decided 2 days before, right?
That's what
So
I'm saying.
there was no carving up. Like I took in 70 grams of carbs the day before. I took in 90 grams of carbs that day, right? And contrary to the Masters Olympia, we did almost 600 something grams of carbs the day before.
Right.
Another 600 grams the day of. You know, so water manipulation, barely any. I was still drinking 12 ounces of water every single meal in the Tampa. So what people saw in Tampa were like, "Man, you look really good," and the judges were like, "You need to be a little harder." I'm like, we didn't even drop water. We didn't do any diuretics, nothing. You know, it was just basically, instead of going to the gym, we went on stage. You know, and
You were dead center the whole time.
it was a good feeling. You know,
Yeah.
like I knew if I couldn't win that show at like 85%, that I didn't have a shot in Romania, right? Because the level of competition was
Yeah, that was
a lot
hard.
higher. You know?
It
So
gave you the confidence to keep going.
yeah, well, I mean, I was going to keep going anyway, but I think
Well,
what it
yeah.
did was it kind of reinvigorated me
Yeah.
to push even harder into the Masters Olympia, right? Because that's all, you know, you're prepping, and you need. I think a good tip for any competitor is, you know, when you get 3 weeks out, so that you keep that desire to push as hard as you can at all times. You're scheduling a photo shoot. You're scheduling some type of appearance. Something that's going to make you have to show and present what you've been working on in that 3 week period. So for me, it was Tampa. Then I come home the next week, nothing. But then I guest pose the week after that, and then it's the
You
show.
got stuck in traffic.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was crazy. Well, but you know what? Like, and this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, typically some things would stress me out. Nothing like stressed me out.
Yeah.
You know, like the gym I'm a part of, the training center, they're moving. We didn't have a new agreement put together and what we're going to do. I was like, I'm not stressing about any of that. I'm not stressing about anything. It is what it is. The show is all that matters because I
Right.
just kept visioning seeing Mr. O on my license plate. Right, just having that. And we didn't achieve that, but what I did achieve is a look that I never thought was possible to me. And that was amazing because what it did was it gave me a level of confidence to say, when I attempt this next year, I know I'm gonna fucking win.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna win. So it was definitely really cool, really cool.
I guess the understatement of the century.
So what's your next step going forward?
Honestly, we are, you know, I ate way too much the week after the show.
How was it?
You know, for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, it's IFBB pro _ Fred Biggie Smalls. We put up, I've started doing like a food thing every day, like post meal, post contest cheats.
You send it to me every day. All that bullshit.
And my coach says to me, just because you were the most conditioned in the show does not mean you get to start your own private food diary. Or
Food journal.
Food journal. So I didn't put any more up. But my game plan was to do one every day for a week. And man, you came to that party.
You ate too much.
We had so much food.
What was it, like 55 guy burgers?
50 get Five Guy burgers, 2 big pans of macaroni and cheese.
Right, spaghetti, all the bullshittery.
Yeah, oh my God, like the corn pudding.
He said, I gotta have something from everybody because I don't want nobody to be offended. 17 plates later.
I'm like this.
30 pounds later.
Right, he was literally huffing in the corner like dying.
Like, did you just run a mile? No, bitch, I just got up, sat down. Yeah, like it was rough. It was rough. But, you know, it was a great time. But I'm telling you, I hit all the way up to 260 and I wasn't on stage any more than 220, 221. I hit 260, but this morning I woke up and was back down to 250, 250.8, right? So I think my goal is to get back down to 245, hold that, I'm comfortable there, and then do my whole health phase at 245, and then in November, see what we got. Like I took some shots today, they look really good, and so 5 more pounds. There's a couple potential guest posings I have going on, and I'm just having fun, man. I mean, now we're trying to figure out the next step in our chapter in our business and all that kind of stuff. But it was an amazing experience. You know, Linda Murray comes up to me, she's like praising me. You know, Linda Murray's 8-time Miss Olympia. You know, she's the standard. Like, she made women's bodybuilding. Yes, I mean, it was Corey Everson hit it out the park, and then Linda Murray took it to a whole new stratosphere. And Linda Murray was so dominant, but yet so beautiful and aesthetic, and just had a great look to her. It wasn't like you looked at her and said, "Ill, too much muscle." You looked at her and you said, "That's absolutely amazingly beautiful." And she's just made women's bodybuilding classy, right?
Yeah.
It was an amazing thing, and you see her. Her guest posings would sell out just like the men would sell out. And in the early '90s, mid '90s, you would see her, and she would be the person they're marketing on a magazine to sell millions of magazines, because she was that good. And for her to come up and be like, "I don't know how you dedicated yourself to getting in that type of condition at this age after being off for two years. That's amazing."
Yeah.
And then Jay Cutler has come up to me before. I mean, if you're just in shape, you're gonna kill it. And he's coming backstage telling me, "Man, you look phenomenal."
And he was, when I was watching the live stream, like he just kept saying, "Oh, I think Freddie's gonna get third," because he thought you were gonna beat Phil.
Yeah, I mean, to have,
I think Max Charles came out of nowhere on that one. That shocked me. I didn't think he was coming out hard.
well, he started working with Milos, right?
I know.
And
I know.
I'm like, I said to Max, "You wait to this show to bring the best conditioning of your life." Like, because, typical Max,
And he was
big
big.
and soft, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, that'll be typical Max. It'll be big and soft. And he looked so streamlined.
Didn't see him. Didn't
He
see
wasn't
it
as
coming,
big.
bro. Didn't see
He
it
wasn't as
coming.
big, but he was so streamlined. And honestly, I thought he could have easily won.
I think, I thought it'd be tough to beat Kamal, just because that's who's
But
on
they
the front of
market him,
every
yeah,
single
they market
poster,
him, yeah.
right? I thought for sure you could beat Phil Kahar. I told you why.
Yeah.
And so, I was looking forward to you winning on my birthday, but close enough. 4th place.
Man,
is good.
we
I'll take
got that
4th place.
first call out,
Exactly.
and I was like, and at night, I got almost emotional on stage because I'm like, they're giving me a real chance in the battle here.
Yeah.
And I felt like, turn me around, turn me to the back, because I felt like I was killing them all from the back,
Right.
Word.
And
I told you what the boy said. So I'm with my client, shout out Brennan. He said, he looks like an alien. Looks like an alien.
yeah, I've never been prouder of a look, man. It was just like, from top to bottom, I was like, shit, man. Like, it killed me to get in that condition, but I'm like, man, that is fucking
Gnarly.
art.
It was good.
Looked like a piece of art. I was like, holy shit, that's me. And here's the one thing I'll say about Chris, and this is why you have a good coach, right? And like for me, when I'm coaching individuals, when I have that moment where they surprise themselves by what they accomplish because it's something I'm guiding them to do, that's always the best moment for a coach, And for me, like, I've religiously had an issue with getting better from the morning show. For me, it always goes the opposite. Like, I always get worse. And the way Chris did my meals that day and the little adjustments he made throughout the day, it was like I was so much better at night. And I was really good in the morning, but I was even better at night. To the point where like Ken Jackson some people were like he was on my heels in the morning, and then when the night came, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, that's when they compared you back and forth.
Right. Like they put me and him together, and it was like, okay,
Nope. Would come out.
And then they brought the top three out, but then they brought
Put
you
you
out
out.
right
Right.
after.
Yep.
Yeah.
right. And then they were like, okay, let's see what Freddie looks like.
That's
in
what
this
you're
group.
battling, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they ran us through 3 rounds, so I mean, I don't know if I was what they were doing, but I saw judges looking at me
Mm-hmm.
and going, and it's like I don't know how much ground I had to make up from the morning,
Right.
but I know I was in the mix, and no one outclassed me, and I know that when we get back next year,
You gotta do splits. You gotta do splits twice.
yes, yeah, I think that's-
Yeah.
You gotta do the splits
but
twice.
I let that routine
Jump
out.
higher.
I know you did.
Man, I was, there's the Romanian fans were incredible. I come out front after the show, and I mean, just a line of people going, "You make show, and it was
It
so.
matters.
The best thing I did. Here's what I can tell you: alive, felt alive. Like you get it, like that getting up with that purpose, like you when you did your grand opening. You see all those people here. It's like
Yes.
I'm alive.
Bro,
I did this.
I was
I'm
here at
alive.
4 in the morning.
That's right.
I've been here at 4 in the morning almost every morning.
Right.
Past 2 months. And you know what? We're up to 121 members today.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
This is my first time like being here. When did you start like when
on
when did this
July
become
1st.
a thought that you wanted
Oh,
to do
this
this?
thought? So I talked
Like, how
about
did
it
it all
for a
start?
couple years, but I went dark in January this year
Mhm.
and literally focused on getting a spot, finding a spot, getting a spot. And in March, I was like, yo, I think I found something.
Mhm.
And we did negotiations and closed on July 1st,
And here we are.
and here we are. The hardest part about buying a business or building a business isn't just the money part. Anybody with some cash can buy a business, but when you're buying something that you're passionate about, some people just don't get it. Like Fred in his prep, some people just don't fucking get it. Like, dude, you look good enough. Yeah, good
Like
enough.
some people to them it's just like torture.
Yeah,
But to
good
Fred, he
enough,
loves
ain't
it.
Yeah. And some people think, oh my God, you're working so many hours, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but
But when you love it,
Saturday.
it's not work.
this past Saturday, for the people that were here, that I can't believe this place. I didn't even know was there. Like, think about this. The previous owner was there. And there were people walking up to me like, I didn't even know this place was here.
What was here before?
Another gym.
Butterfly,
Oh, okay.
empowered.
Yeah. So, how do you think that made the other people feel? Like, people didn't know you were here.
Yeah.
And now we got almost 200 people, 150, 200 people outside. Oh my God, this is new. It changes
It's
the,
exciting.
and I mean, we had DJ outside.
Well, it's the
Oh.
passion you're interjecting into.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where when you're not passionate about something, you work hard enough.
Enough.
You work hard enough. When you're super passionate about it, it's like you can't. You're just working to get everything perfect.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and you have this vision of what you want, and it's like you're the artist and you're trying to create it.
That's it.
And nothing can be good enough. It's all got to be phenomenal.
That's it.
It's all got to be phenomenal. And like the same principles we put into a successful prep, like
Yeah.
every day I want to do these things. I got to get this done, and I want to be 3 to 5% better every single day of doing it.
Yeah.
And now, anybody that comes in the way of that, they gotta go.
You gotta go.
They gotta go. I got room for positivity only. If it ain't positive, you gotta go.
That's it. Right? I didn't even tell my mom.
Right?
I bought the spot. My mom was what about, what if?
Yeah.
Fucking, Tracy knew. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because I know it doesn't matter what I say. She was like, okay, just get it done.
Right. Right.
She don't care.
Right.
And
I mean, you can't have a better partner.
You can't,
right?
yeah.
Like you don't need someone to be an anchor. You need to have that person that's
Supportive.
a sail next to you,
That's it.
pushing you through, because you got enough people that are going to be in your way saying, Walter. You
Yeah.
need that person next to you that's going to say, let's go.
Exactly.
Keep moving. You know, and that's what happened with me and Janine. Like when I got back from Tampa, it wasn't like, babe, I feel so sorry for you. It was like, babe, you got this. Come on, you got
Yeah.
this. You know, and just that little difference in tone makes all the difference. So when you're prepping or you're trying to do something to empower yourself or change or hit a different level of success, it's imperative you have that person next to you that's pushing you along to say, I got you, you can do this, the positive, you know, and telling you, also looking at you and saying, because this is something Janine did, and I respect her for it. She said, don't you think it's time to do all your cardio in the morning? And I said, because I was making such great changes, and and I kept telling people, I don't think it really matters whether you do morning cardio or not, because your body in the beginning is just going to start dropping, as long as you're being perfect with everything.
Right.
And science tells you morning cardio is not important. Science tells you as long as you're getting it in, you're burning the calories, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, I'm burning the candle at both ends, right? We all are. So you do the cardio at night.
Mm-hmm. Or in the middle of the day.
Whatever.
Or in the morning. Or during the day.
You make sure you're getting it in, right?
Yeah.
But when she said that, because I had a couple weeks there where I changed, but I didn't really change, and I was so lean compared to what I typically am, and I said, I'm just gonna try it for this week and see what happens. And I got up, made myself get up, made myself go to bed a little earlier. Next thing you know, nice little jump. And I said, okay, that's it.
There it is.
You're gonna keep it in the morning. And but it took her to kind of give me that. Like I knew I needed to try it, but she kind of gave me that hand, like, hey, I think it's time.
Yep.
You
that little
that
push.
little urge, like no negative, just
That's it.
not. Why aren't you doing this?
No.
I think you're gonna try morning. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So and then everything just started speeding up again, because it was a change. It was a nuance that we changed. So likewise with this, you might need a little push. Hey, did you try this?
Yeah.
And that's, when you're doing anything, if you got that person next to you that can support you that way,
That's it.
sky's the limit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So now we got 6 months
To
to
what?
do a show.
Okay.
6 months.
Arnold.
Arnold.
Arnold. Sounds good.
We're gonna do an Arnold Classic in Ohio, the first week of March. He's gonna guest pose.
Are you ready?
I'm dialed in
You
now.
ready?
Now that this is not on cruise control, it doesn't require 12 hours every day.
Right.
16, 18 hours every day to be focused on just
That's
growing.
pretty awesome, man. That's a fast turnaround for this thing. That's fast. I mean, I know you've been grinding every
But
day.
I'm a trained salesman. It's different. I'm not just a trainer.
Right.
I actually train people how to sell. So the
Right.
selling process for me is easy.
Right.
If someone's in front of me for more than 5 minutes.
Be close. Always be close, right?
And that was the reason for the grand opening, though, right? It was not just for the people that were existing clients, or for the new people who came to come see. It was for the existing clients to see what this is going to become, and they got a glimpse of the vision. I mean, we had 25 people in here, front to back, doing my free fitness Saturday class, and half of them be back on this weekend.
Right.
I do a free fitness class every Saturday morning. You know why? A, it's smart because they're gonna come and see your stuff. And B, the energy is always live. When there's more people, the energy is always live. And it's free.
People like free stuff. Yeah.
Everyone likes
exactly.
free stuff. And then when they come in, they sit down, they sign up for a program at $350, $400, $500, $600 a month. They're hooked.
Yeah. $3.99.
It's free. It's free.
Nothing like $3.99.
I don't.
It's like I saw this thing. So I watch Eric Thomas a lot.
Sure.
motivational speaker.
E.T. I know
Yeah,
he
he was talking about like if you go into a mall and they got like all the fast food and they're like
You want fried
try-
rice?
They got jumpers. Yeah, they got a jumper. It's called a
and
jumper.
they're like try fried rice. It's
Yeah.
like no, I'm good. I want it.
It's a
And they give it to you for free. And then you try and like, oh, that's actually pretty good. And then you're like, oh, you buy a whole meal.
That's old
you
drug
get a
dealer trick.
taste, like you get a little
Yeah.
bit for free. And then you
Bro,
end up
that's
buying
old drug
one.
dealer trick. They go out there, I'm serious. It's called a jumper. So they line up all the heroin addicts on Baltimore Street. give them a little taste, and then they come back with all the $100.
Yeah.
So for
It's
$100 in product, they now got $5,000 in profit.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like on social media when you give the tips
Yeah.
and the workouts away for free,
Yeah.
so that people
And
are.
then they want to buy your
They wanna buy
programs
your-
or get you to coach them. Yeah.
I'm not about to give away the programs. I'll coach you.
Well, you set it up so
Yeah.
they pay for it. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I found a lot of success in just putting out the workouts I'm doing,
Yeah.
or putting out those tips, and then inevitably there's always somebody in my DMs about coaching.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think
That's why I gotta win Arnold.
That is why.
yeah, when you win the Arnold,
If I come in top
You
5
said
with
you-
Arnold,
no,
that'd be
you-
good.
keep it at winning. Keep it at winning. You know, because the thing is, one of my fears that I said, okay, I want to win the Masters Olympia.
Yep.
But one of the things I was saying in my head is, when I win the Masters Olympia, do I really want to do the Olympia? And here's why. I felt I could win the Masters Olympia. I put that in my mind,
Sure.
believed it. And I felt like a winner when I was on that stage. But I wouldn't be that confident about winning the Open Olympia. Right? So
A
then
little
I'm
bit more
like,
challenging, yeah.
so then I'm like, when I do that prep, am I gonna be a dog doing this prep?
See, I'm gonna be a dog doing the prep, like you did, like we did before. You know, but the target is different. We have the knowledge.
I feel
and
you.
You have the knowledge, so when you win,
I feel you. But what I'm saying is, when you're saying to yourself, I believe with every step on this damn treadmill, I'm one step closer to winning.
absolutely.
It's a lot different than I believe with one step closer to looking great on stage in Olympia.
Yeah.
That's a different
Yeah,
mindset.
sure.
So when you go to the mall and they say, you want fried rice? You're like, I mean, I'm 12 weeks out. Yeah, I'm going to take some fried rice. But if you know for a
Right.
fact you're going to win the Olympia, you ain't touching that fried rice.
I'm
You
not
ain't
going to
touching
the mall.
nothing.
I'm not going to the
You
mall.
know what I mean? Like,
I'll be in the house. Ain't going nowhere.
Hang on the couch and eat it.
I'm sitting there in the mall one day, and my son's like, Dad, can we go to GameStop? Now, me right now, sure. Boom, let's go to GameStop. It's only a hop, skip, and a jump, right? Man, I'm in there like this. Yeah, we can go. we can go. Hang on a second. Ooh, let me get my life together. Let me.
Right? You're
All right,
tired.
Do it. Get up. You can do it. My girlfriend's like, I'll take you to GameStop. Good
There you
Lord,
go.
Let's go. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Like,
Listen, it's
it
a
was
whole
that
other
much of
level.
a struggle to walk to the freaking store. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you can't even fathom that feeling right now. And I'm going, was I that tired, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm eating green beans like they're candy. I was so depleted.
The green beans
Yo,
and
bro,
everything.
the green beans, like green beans and spaghetti squash. That was it. And then when Chris said, I only want 1,300 milligrams of sodium a day.
Wow.
That ain't
That's
shit, bro.
no seasoning.
Bro, that's like borderline dangerous for your kidneys, right? Like that's borderline dangerous for your body. And we did that shit for a
You
while.
had to measure out the salt.
Bro, I created these little cups, and because I said, okay, my protein shakes have this much sodium, egg whites have this much sodium, so I'm left with 320 milligrams of sodium that I can do freely.
And you need to grind that shit to a fine powder and hit the Salt Bay action.
So I don't use salt because salt for a quarter teaspoon is 450 milligrams. That ain't so you talking about you ain't even getting a full teaspoon, right?
Right.
But the popcorn seasonings are only 80.
Ah, that's creative stuff.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna take this
See,
teaspoon.
what you do is you sweat and put that into a bucket.
Oh, that's
And then
disgusting.
evaporate the water from your own shit. So it doesn't matter, there's salt. And no extra.
That's the Eddie Murphy shit.
That's-
That's the Eddie Murphy shit.
I'm just saying.
But-
You gotta be
But
creative.
listen to this though, right? I took the popcorn seasoning, ranch one in particular, and have you tried it? Okay, we'll do the white cheddar then, right?
There you go.
But
The
either
white
way,
cheddar's good.
a quarter, you do a teaspoon and you divvy it up between 4 different containers, and that's what you use on your meals. And man, it didn't even taste like shit. It didn't taste. It didn't taste. So when I switched to green beans, I was like, "Ooh, this is sweet. This is sweet." Yeah. So like,
That's crazy.
the next thing you know, like he didn't care about sweeteners, right? So I was like, everything gonna be sweet then. Everything gonna be sweet. I ain't doing salt or nothing. Everything gonna be sweet. So I'm doing chicken with Splenda. Yeah, everything's sweet. I need some flavor in my life, and it was crazy, man. But it's so funny because your taste buds are so sensitive to everything.
Cause you eat nothing, never clean. Yeah.
Super clean. But that takes a progression because I don't even think I can do that right now. Right now I'm like, I done ate Fat Boy food for 2 weeks. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine. I had to go back up to that.
Yeah, that was nuts.
It was definitely an experience though, man. I mean, like it was something that definitely let me know, hey,
You can do it.
yeah. And I'm gonna tell you what's really cool. What's really cool is in all these new training systems, everybody trying to come up with a new training system. The amount of size I put on my legs in that short period of time from training the way I like to train, super intense. And I'm gonna tell you what became a staple. When I would have more carbohydrates, I would do a higher volume.
Mm-hmm.
So I might do 24, 30 sets in a particular session. But when I would get these low carbs, which I spent a lot of days on low carbs, you got to be as efficient as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick warm-ups, 3 to 4 warm-ups, and then 1 hard set to failure. And I maintained the density and actually was able to still grow during those low carb period of times. I wasn't annihilating my body, but I was stimulating that need for my body to maintain that density.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked beautifully. Like, I still get sore, but not overly sore, and like that one set to failure needs to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 week it was, I was like, I know I can get more reps with this.
He would literally, he did a triple drop set when he was just like right before Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy. and I train Ann, who's, getting ready for, she did top 5 of the New York Pro this year. And she's like, I can't even complain because you're doing this shit and you're in fucking prep. And like training like that though, it's like one set, one thing, get it over with, done. And like, you're able to muster that energy up for that set.
Here's an interesting training question for you. What do you think about splitting it up throughout the day? So, I have a client who claims they don't have enough time to do their workout all at once.
Right.
But they can do it 3 different times during the day. I can do 15 minutes on my break, go back to work, come back, do 15 minutes more, go back, do 15 minutes more.
I
What
mean,
are your thoughts on
it
that?
would work great for like a push-pull leg cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in the morning, 15 minutes on chest, 15 minutes on shoulders, 15 minutes on triceps. Then I'm on doing what I gotta do. It worked perfect. Yeah, and then you're getting that constant boost in your metabolism every couple hours too. So it would definitely work. Definitely work. But you gotta train hard.
Hard,
15 minutes.
15 minutes, right.
Yeah. But that system that I said, 3 warm-ups and 2 real hard sets for each of those exercises, golden. 6 hard fucking sets in 15 minutes, toast. If you're really pushing the failure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll work good. Legs would be challenging to do that, but because it would be hard to really train to the level of intensity that you need at our level.
Mm-hmm.
But for the person who's just trying to maintain and be in shape and lose some body fat, certainly could get in there and do like another one would be good would be like if you're doing like upper and abs. So I'm gonna come in and do chest and abs in the first 15 minutes, and then in the other 15-minute sessions I'm gonna do like my arms, right? So I'm getting some more core work in there. keeping things moving. That could work really well. Or like a leg, splitting some quads, biceps together, and another hamstrings and delts or something like that. That's the way to do that. Instead of trying to hit all your legs all in one day.
Right.
But yeah, you can definitely make it work, for sure,
Interesting.
for sure. And get a nice stimulus out of it. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So yeah, that's you. But that's one of your clients that's doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was I've never heard of people that. I was like, no. That's not what I wrote down. That's not what you're doing. So.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, that it's like anything else. How hard is the person going to push themselves in that 15 minutes?
Right.
That's really what you're worried about. Like, anything will work. But how hard are you going to push yourself to the level, or are you going to go in and run through the motion for 15 minutes? Because at that point,
Not worth it.
it's not worth it, right? You're almost detraining the body, right? Because you're not hitting anything to stimulate improvement.
Right.
So, and I'm one of these guys that truly believes in life. It's never ever going to be the same. You're either getting better or you're getting worse.
Right.
Like I like whatever you're doing, you're not ever staying the same. So, people say, "Well, I'm just maintaining." Not really.
Nope.
Like you're either getting worse or you're getting better. Which one are you going to do today, right? So, and that's what you really worry about with your clients. Are you creating a training effect when you train
Right.
to get better, right? So, because that's what people lose sight of. Like, oh yeah, I trained today. Did you really create any type of effect to the body? Or did you just go in and go through the motion?
Right.
Because at that point, you wasted your time. Right? Like, sure, it's not a waste of time. You got the heart moving and all that kind of stuff. But you wasted an opportunity to get better.
Right.
And that's what we always want to do when we train is we want to work towards getting better in some way, some fashion, every time you're in the gym, because that makes it worth going.
I think that ties into just about everything in your existence.
Absolutely.
Whether it's in the gym, whether it's at your job or with your family, always are you putting in that 1%? How
Yeah.
much better are you with 1% more?
Right, like look at relationships, for instance, right? What happens with guys all the time? You get into, you're in this relationship, you've been married for 5 or 6 years, and you stop doing all the things that got you there. Because you're like, I'm in a relationship, we're good. She knows I love her. Or she says, he's good. But guys do it more often. You hear it all the time. She knows I love her. I'm providing, I'm doing this. What did you do to make her feel
Initially.
like she's important? Right? Like, what did you do today to make her feel like she's significant in your world? And what I always, try and do is, don't tell me you knew you wanted to be with me forever in the first 3 months, and then you're telling me, well, did we not continue to get stronger and better and continually improve our relationship over the next 2 years? Like, what are we doing? Like, it can't be the same.
Right.
I feel like I did about you. I've always known I loved you. No, that ain't true. Like, something had to get better.
Right.
Or it got fucking worse. So, what are we doing here? Like, and that's like, because if I say something like, oh my God, like, I know even more now that I always want to be with you. And you come back at me and say, well, that worries me because you should have known you wanted to be with me 6 months ago. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. Through each occurrence, through each investment of time,
Right.
through each milestone met, we create something that further invests us into each other,
That's it.
right? So it's like you and I meet.
Yep.